Good morning. Welcome to Faith in the Morning. Something good is going to happen to you today, so expect miracles. Thank you for joining me today. Faith in the Morning exists to help you start your day with faith and encouragement. So I'm so glad, however you are a part, that you're a part this morning, whether watching on live stream on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, watching on Faith Plus or Faith Plus On Demand, listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Thank you for joining me today. You know, one of the things we are starting next week is on Fridays throughout the summer, I'm conducting special interviews with ministers and authors for their different books and topics to help you live this lifestyle of faith, to encourage you. You can consider it your summer reading list. It's going to encourage you and help you live the life God has for you. Let's go to James chapter 3. I was talking about this a little bit yesterday on Faith in the Morning. James chapter 3, verse 13. It says, "Who is wise and understanding among you? Let him show by good conduct that his works are done in the meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter envy and self-seeking in your hearts, do not boast and lie against the truth. This wisdom does not descend from above, but is earthly, sensual, and demonic. For where envy and self-seeking exist, confusion and every evil thing are there. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. Now the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace." And so one of the things we were talking about yesterday is how there are different type of wisdom in the earth, and why it's important to follow the wisdom of God and what that will produce in your life. I want to share with you from my book, No Longer Mere Mortals. It says, "As often is true, there is the real and there is the counterfeit. There are many different types of wisdom out there that believers may operate in. Just because people are saved, it does not mean they automatically operate by the wisdom of God. There are those who are hurt and bitter because of circumstances in life. They share their circumstances and warn that their situations will be everyone's result, no matter what they do. However, the person's operating system is not wisdom. It is their bitterness. Hebrews 12:15 says, "Look after each other so that none of you fails to receive the grace of God. Watch out that no poisonous root of bitterness grows up to trouble you, corrupting many." Such people may be well-meaning, but instead of healing from their hurt, they spread their bitterness and defile and corrupt many people. The Apostle James described this type of wisdom in James 3. He called it earthly, sensual, and demonic. This operating system produces bitterness and strife. As James shared more concerning this counterfeit wisdom, he made a statement that mirrors what happened to the church of Corinth. When you read through 1 Corinthians, you see the confusion that was present in the local church of Corinth, and we'll talk about them tomorrow. Confusion describes a state of disorder, instability, and disturbance. As you continue through the epistle, you see different evil works in the church that he had to correct. The kryptonite of strife will weaken believers, destabilize their lives, and bring confusion and all kinds of evil works. In contrast to counterfeit wisdom, James said the wisdom of God is pure, peace-loving, considerate, reasonable, merciful, full of good fruits, unwavering, and always sincere. If your life is not producing the fruits described by the apostle in James 3:17, you need to upgrade to a new operating system. The operating system of the wisdom of God will orchestrate a lifestyle of God's love and power, in which you'll be able to conquer every challenge on the superhuman journey. As we've been encouraging to read Proverbs through this month, the wisdom of God, it's sometimes seems very strange to the people of the world to operate by the wisdom of God. But you need to know, as you saw yesterday and as we shared a little bit today, the wisdom of God always produces, it always brings results, and there are rewards with staying on the path and not getting off the path. You may have been through some things, but don't become the person who, instead of operating by wisdom, they operate by bitterness. No, let God heal your heart. He says he's the healer of the brokenhearted. He's the restorer of your soul. Whatever you're going through today, if you're having a hard time forgiving someone, if what you went through, the trauma or the betrayal you went through is dictating all your decisions of your life, you may not be operating by wisdom. It may be out of hurt and unforgiveness and bitterness and pain. And you don't let your past dictate your future. Be healed of your past. Be freed of your past. And let God direct the steps of your future. And here's what I will encourage you to do. It's very simple. Just say, "Jesus, heal my heart." And do you know what to do after that? Get in a good faith-filled community that will help you stay accountable. No, don't just go to church. Some people go to church and they run out afterwards. No, build relationship, build connections. Say, "Well, I don't want to be hurt again." Do you know what? Yes, it's possible to be hurt again. You know, around people, you can get hurt again. But do you know what you'll miss out if you stay afraid of hurt and being hurt by people again? You miss out on the power of accountability, of friendship, of people pouring into you and you pouring into them. You miss out on some of the wonderful things in this life. And the thing is, if you operate by the wisdom of God, you'll be able to not only pour into the lives of others, you can receive from others and build good, godly friendships. But if you operate on the system of bitterness and the wisdom of this world, I guarantee you what you'll go through in this life will get worse and worse and worse, and you won't experience the life God has for you. You especially won't live supernatural. The wisdom of God will produce what we share today. So I encourage you, receive healing in your heart. Go forward. Forgive everybody of everything. And know God has wonderful plans for you. And yes, for you, I just sense it, and we'll go back to this point, that you're struggling with having relationships again, having friends again, trusting again, going to church again. You're struggling with that because of what you went through. I'm not making light of what you went through. But I'm telling you, God has more for you. God has better for you. And it's not for you becoming an island. It's not you isolating yourself. See what happens when believers isolate themselves? It's easy for Satan to pick them off. No, God has more for you. Don't run from community, run to community. Build godly relationships. Ask God to lead you and guide you to the right friends, to the right group, to the right relationships, and ask Him how to have those relationships. Some of you struggle in that area because you never saw that in your life. You didn't see it with your parents or how you grew up, and so you're struggling to learn how to connect with people. Ask God to show you how to do it, and He will. God has great plans for you. He has great plans for the group He's called you to be in. You know, He even tells us in Psalms that He takes the lonely and He puts them in groups. He puts them in families. God's not putting you out by yourself. He has a faith crew, a faith family, a faith community for you to walk in. I'm going to share a little bit more about this on Sunday at Faith Christian Center. We call our faith groups faith communities because we're in this life together, and together everyone accomplishes more. I'm out of time. Something good's going to happen to you today. Expect miracles. I love you so much. I'll see you next time on Faith in the Morning. God bless.